Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Struggle Strategy Academy. This particular video, we're going to talk about anxiety, fear, worry, and insecurity. So, what about anxiety, fear, worry, and insecurities? And how does it play in the fact that you struggle? So, we've learned that thoughts are energy. We've learned that God moves through our faith, which is also energy. We've learned that the universe operates through our energy. We haven't quite tapped into chakras, which are the actual portals that we have on our human body. There are 7 portals on our body that connect us to the energy sources or forces to the universe. So, with that being said, understanding that the energy that you put into the universe and how it plays and how it comes back to you, you can begin to see that you play a major part in how your life is now and the fact that you struggle. So, what is anxiety? Anxiety is an imagined, feared outcome. So you're imagining this scary outcome is going to occur because something may have happened or something just happened. So you have this imagined outcome that's very scary. It's the worst that you can probably think of. And you imagine it happening to you just because something happened. What is worry? Worry is repeated anxiety about a situation. So you lose your job, you're worried that you're going to go broke and homeless. Every single day, you have this worry, you have this anxiety, this imagined fear. Every single day, that's all you talk about. That's all you focus on. That's all you dwell on. That's all you feel in your heart that you're going to experience this traumatic experience. Now, not realizing that all of this is energy that you're putting into the universe. And eventually, if you don't correct it, it's going to be manifested in your life. So that fear then occurs when you become scared. Where does that fear come from? Where does being scared come from? When you are scared, then that means that there's an insecurity that is at the root cause of that fear. There is something about you that you are not secure in this particular situation. Therefore, you have the anxiety. Therefore, you have the worry. Therefore, you have the fear. That insecurity comes from you understanding, knowing, and recognizing and walking in your true purpose and your worth. What about this situation that takes away love? What about this situation does not show care or protection? What about this situation where you don't feel provided, where you don't feel a part of something, where you feel forgotten, where you don't feel covered by the universe? Knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are cared for, knowing that you are protected, knowing that you are provided for, that you are not being forgotten, that God will never forsake you, knowing that He is covering you. Knowing these things will help you to improve your faith and getting the help that you need and getting through the struggle that you're going through. So, where does the insecurities come from? When you have insecurities, there are fears that are rooted in you that make you believe that you're not worthy of something, that make you feel that you're not loved, to make you feel that you're not a part of something whole and bigger than yourself. So that means that your heart chakra, your ability to love and connect with other people is blocked. Then also your root chakra, which is you having reliance on source to provide for you, is blocked. And because those two things, those two portals of energy are blocked, the universe can't give you that healing that you need in those areas. Therefore, you are stuck in a situation where you have unhealthy security about yourself, therefore creating those insecurities, which ultimately are the root of your fears and makes you worry, fear, have anxiety, and just fuck your life up pretty much, because you go through all of these things, you experience these things. In the last video we talked about thoughts and behaviors and breaking down events and getting to the root of your behaviors and why you do things. You definitely know that fear, worry, and anxiety plays a significant part in all of that. So the security that you have as a person, confidence, in other words, are you confident or you believe in yourself? Do you believe that there is a God that's protecting you? Do you believe that you're able to go through life on your own without the help of other people? Are you self-reliant? Do you have self-love that you practice and show yourself? These questions can be answered based off of your attachment styles. What is an attachment style? And I didn't add that on there because I'm really not focused on this, because that's a whole nother workshop, but I'm gonna briefly go through this and how it relates to your struggle and your fear, anxiety, worries, and all of that. So attachment styles are patterns of how we think, how we feel, and how we act in relationships. And the reason I add relationships is because things that you go through, you experience with other people. So those things that you go through and you experience with those other people, they take place because of how you think, how you feel, and what you were taught on how to act in relationships with them. And because of those things, because of these attachment styles, there are some healthy, well, actually, there's one healthy one, which is called the secure attachment style, which is where you had a good upbringing. Parents were there for you, very healthy uprearing, good communication. You were confident. You were led to be confident in yourself, and you were taught and instilled things that built you up and not tore you down. The other three, because there are four, the other three attachment styles are unhealthy. And we're going to talk about those in a minute. But I want to say that the way that we are raised definitely determines our behaviors when we are adults. If we can get to the root of why we continue to do things as adults that do not serve us in an adult world, they may have served us in that childlike world or that child world when we were younger, but they do not serve us now. When we can get to the root cause of those behaviors, then we can get a step forward in the right direction, because once we understand why we do things, we can begin to take back our control and shift things in our mind and in our actions, and then begin to shift and create a different life for ourselves. So, as we talk about attachment styles, again, they're patterns of how we think, feel, and act in relationships. And when we say patterns, that's a developed set of behaviors that we were created, excuse me, that we were taught to do, that we deemed okay, that works for us. That pattern of how we think of how we think about people and how we think about things develops how we will feel in functioning excuse me, when we function in the world with other people. So if we are not feeling connected to other people, then that attachment style that's unhealthy is at play. And because we're not feeling connected with others, and because we don't have that reliance of source to provide for us, then the thoughts that we're having produce negative energy that we put out into the universe. So it's important that you understand your attachment style. It's important to understand how you developed it, and it's important to place that attachment style as to where you are today and how it's affecting your situation and why you're struggling with it. Because when we're conditioned to believe something, or we're conditioned to do things. It's a pattern, which means it took time to develop that, which means it also is going to take time to undevelop it, to retrain it. So when we talk about attachment styles, the three unhealthy ones are dismissive avoidant, anxious preoccupied, and fearful avoidant. So we talked about the secure attachment style, which is where you have that confident parenting going on, where your parents were highly involved. They challenged you, yet they raised you fairly with justice. They communicated with you, they shared themselves, they opened them, they were available, they were trusting, they were around, they were close, they were there, they were involved, they were good parents. Uh, this creates the secure attachment with other people, secure attachment with life events, secure. So when you face life challenges, you face them securely because you know in the back of your head that you can do it, because you had somebody tell you that you were good, that you were smart, that you were pretty, that you were able, that you were capable, that you could do it. They were rooting you on. You had a cheerleading team. So all of those memories that were created from you in a secure upbringing, you put into you put that energy into the universe, and that's why you create, because you have that energy inside of you. So when you talk about the three unhealthy attachment styles, the first one being dismissive avoidant, this is where you were constantly rejected as a child. Your parents were not close to you. They were never around, or when they were around, they ignored you. They were always busy. They didn't pay you attention. They dismissed you and they avoided you. And that's how you feel, even though that's not probably what it was, because of their lifestyle and the things that they were doing, but that's how you took it, and that's how you felt. You felt dismissed, you felt avoided, you felt rejected. And because you feel that way, you have this unhealthy attachment style with people in adult life, which makes you feel uncomfortable with getting emotionally close with them, or unemotionally close with situations that you're faced with. And that creates struggle inside your mind, which ultimately creates struggle within your decisions. So you become emotionally independent, and therefore you feel as if, because you've been neglected or have had rejection most of your life, you feel that you don't need other people or things in order for you to be accepted, loved, and approved, because you've never gotten that and you just find it along the way. But the reality is, you do want that acceptance, you do want that approval. And when you're in the healthy relationships, you begin to make healthier decisions about your life. So if you have an attachment style that where you were always rejected, then you will have a negative, defeated mindset when you approach things in life. And that negative, defeated mindset is negative, defeated energy, because it's thoughts that you're putting into the universe. Then that creates that out of alignment of God's will, that strife that God will allow you to sit in until you can get out of it by recognizing what it is. Then you have the anxious, preoccupied attachment style, which is unhealthy as well. Now, this is where you were emotionally abandoned. Your parents were pretty much never around. Um, you were ignored a lot. You probably tried to get approval and never could. Uh, you craved their attention, and you didn't get the self-assurance that you needed, or the affirmations that you needed, or the confidence. You didn't have that confident parenting, because they weren't there to support. Maybe you were actively involved in things and they were never involved, they weren't around. You didn't have them to support you and cheer you on through things, and it caused you to doubt yourself and your self-worth. And because you have that doubt in yourself and your self-worth, you tend to make decisions that reflect that. And that is why you end up inside the bubble of your struggle, because again, it's out of alignment of the will of God, and the universe takes care of that. So with the anxious, preoccupied, you constantly need assurance. So you'll even approach situations with God where you're constantly needing assurance, because you'll equate God's word as the word of your parents who weren't there for you. You become dependent on others for approval, and you constantly are looking for reassurance and responsiveness. And you'll even approach God the same way, and God doesn't operate off of that, because that is a reflection of an insecurity. And God is that's negative energy, but you're putting it to the universe, and God is not responding. That's why you uh, are stuck in your struggle mode. And then the last attachment style is disorganized, or AKA fearful avoidant. Now, this comes when you have more of toxic, abusive, angry parents, parents that were aggressive and, just not loving, and just rough, and just violent, and maybe an alcoholic or something, drug addict or something like that. When you have that particular attachment style, it it leaves you with the sense of you want things, but then you don't. You're scared to go approach them. So you approach relationships the same way. You want the love, and you want the acceptance, and you want the affection, but when it comes to you, you pull back because you're scared, and you have this insecure feeling about yourself, because again, the attachment was broken, the bond, and all of these attachment styles deal with bonds. The bond was broken with your caregiver. Therefore, you have no reliance on safety, and your security and your closeness and affection. It wasn't there as a kid, so you're bound, and it may have been there sometimes, but then you may have had to work hard for it. So therefore, when you wanted it, you didn't get it. And if you work hard for it, you did. It's just toxic situations. It it harms the bond that you have, and therefore creates that insecurity. And it sends mixed messages to you as a child, which you then learn as a conditioned behavior to exemplify those same behaviors later in life. And again, approaching situations, relationships, careers, decisions, just decisions overall. So the attachment styles that you had growing up creates security or insecurities in you. And if you are someone that has very insecure uh, feelings about yourself, then start looking at your situation and comparing how you were detached, I can say, or unbonded, if that's the real word, with your caregivers or your parents, and take that experience with the unhealthy attachments where your parents were violent or toxic or not there, or just absent or negligent, or abusive, or just not compassionate or not affectionate, or not not the things that parents should be for kids. Take that situation and those feelings, those thoughts, what was, and then look at what was created from that entire thought process. So my parents were very detached, and I was emotionally abandoned as a kid. So from that, I got to keep to myself and to keep my feelings to myself, because searching for answers through them and trying to get reassurance, I didn't get it. And I learned that I wanted it, but when I would get it, and I never shied away from it. It was just I needed the reassurance constantly, frequently, because I had an insecurity about myself. And that insecurity played out in not just my relationships, but my purpose and my walk in life. So I approached my entire lifestyle based off of this attachment that I had growing up, because again, attachment styles are patterns of the way we think and act, and it's based off of our experiences uh, as kids. So how we think, feel, and act, it's all based off of our experiences as a child. So Let's look at your situation. Is there love being shown to you? Because remember, attachment styles that are unhealthy boil down to the fact that you don't feel love and you don't feel protected. You don't feel connected to source and you don't feel a part of something greater than yourself. You feel alone, you feel unloved, and you feel just by yourself. So these particular situation, the particular situation that you're struggling with, look inside of it. How are you showing yourself love in the decisions that you're making? And is God providing for you? Do you see God providing for you in the situation that you're facing? If no, then ask yourself, why am I not being loved? Where is it lacking in my situation? So, where are you not showing yourself love in your decision making process? And because you have removed that love, that means that you don't feel like you're worthy of it. And that again puts that energy into the universe because you're stuck on that attachment style, those old memories, that pattern of thinking, that pattern of feeling, which creates that pattern of behavior that you continue to act on based off of that particular situation from your childhood. So that's why it's important to definitely dig deep into that childhood and see what it is that caused everything that you're experiencing today, because it's definitely rooted somewhere either in your young adult childhood or young adulthood. It's a situation that caused some type of trauma or a situation where you just weren't felt loved or you didn't feel protected, and it creates this detachment from life and your purpose and your decision making and your in touch with realityness, your aura. It just throws everything off. So when you ask yourself, where are you not being loved and where are you lacking love in the situation, then ask yourself, what is blocking God from doing his part? So what in your thought process, what in your behavior, what in your feelings are you blocking God from getting in and doing his work? And if you answer yes to these questions where love is being shown and love, God is providing, then ask yourself this: why am I still not feeling loved in this area? Why am I still struggling? Why, if I feel loved and protected in this particular area, why am I still choosing to struggle? Because I still lack that faith somewhere in God. So why is God still not working for me? What's blocking him? You still want to find out what you are doing that's blocking God, because it could just be the way you think, and it couldn't. And again, I always say it's probably nothing that you're doing. You're probably doing everything fine. Your works are fine, but it's your faith that's not. It's your thought process that's not. And you may even feel it in your heart, but what is in your mind? You may feel it in your heart that God is good and he's protecting you. Your works is complementing that, but what is in your mind? In the back of your mind, you don't believe any of that. And therefore, you're counteracting the positive energy that you were putting out there. You're canceling it because in your mind, you really don't believe that. So to know that that block is the behavior or the thought that you have that is out of alignment. So whatever it is that's blocking you, whatever it is that's blocking God from getting through, whatever it is that you're keeping to yourself or for yourself or from God or whatever the situation is, whatever that block is, that's what's keeping you out of alignment of God's will. And that is what's keeping you in the trenches of your struggle. So what thought do you have about the thing that's worrying you? What behavior do you continue to exemplify? What outcome do you continue to see? And what can you do differently? What thoughts do you need to have instead? So, if you can answer these questions, if you can really focus on your attachment style, if you can understand why you have this imagined feared outcome, then you can eliminate your worry. You can definitely retrain your mind to think differently about yourself so you don't have those same insecurities anymore. You can become secure. You can have a secure attachment in life, a secure attachment with people, a secure attachment with God, a secure attachment with yourself. And then you can learn to release that anxiety and create the energy and put out into the universe the energy that is definitely going to produce and create and manifest what it is that your heart truly desires. So I hope this video definitely helped you. And along with this video, you would definitely be getting your worksheet. So the worksheet to this is going to complement what we've talked about today. So there's some questions that you need to answer. And after you've completed those answers, all you need to do is put in the comment section, complete, submit your work, and then you're on to the next assignment. So that is all I have for anxiety, fear, worry, and insecurities. But I do want you to know, guys, that this is definitely something, and I just want to say this for a minute. This is definitely something that you have to take serious. It is definitely, as you can see, it's energetic. It's way beyond yourself, and God is calling you to take steps into the right direction. And with this course, you're definitely headed in that right direction. And I hope by now that you have some sort of mm, going on about you to where you can, you know, feel it. You can start feeling yourself and you feel some type of change and you feel some type of um, release of what it is that you were struggling with. At least have some type of ideal of how to at least get out of it. So that way, when we progress on to the future weeks, you have a better understanding and you'll have more peace about the situation. And then you'll be able to unpeel and unveil yourself a lot easier, a lot better. And then you'll actually progress through the course way faster because it's definitely a course where you have to surrender. It's definitely a course where you have to let what is be and allow what is to come from your answers to come, what is to come from your feelings and the things that you experience doing your shadow work, doing the inner child healing, doing the cognitive behavior therapy, listening to the videos, just answering the questions and just evaluating yourself and reflecting. These are the things that are going to help you progress through this course, and they're definitely going to show you that there are other options out there, other thoughts that you can have, and better ways for you to come up with solutions for your problems. And that way, beloved, you can definitely learn to stop struggling. So that is all I have for this video. I will catch you guys on the next one. But know this, that you are going to make it through this, and I will see you later.